Hi, I'm Tati and welcome to the Tati Dominique Show. And today we are going over 5 ways to increase your pattern recognition skills. Pattern recognition is a cognitive process that allows individuals to identify and interpret patterns in their environment and with people. Pattern recognition is fundamental to human perception, a skill that is crucial to helping you understand tasks within your everyday life, but also to help you better understand people and why they do the things that they do. Now that we have an understanding on what pattern recognition is, let's jump into how to increase your pattern recognition skills. 1. Engage in active listening and observation. The reason why this is so important, because oftentimes when we are listening, sometimes we're listening to respond, not listening to comprehend and to get the data. Okay, the huge thing that people fail to realize about pattern recognition is it's not your ability to just put everything together at once. It's the small collection of data over time that allows you to see the full picture and the full understanding of a person. Now, this is your own interpretation, your own perception of them. Could your perception be wrong? Absolutely. That's why you have to engage in active listening and active observation so that you can get the most accurate perception of who you think this person is to be based on the data points. The reason why you can't just only engage in active listening is because sometimes people will say one thing and do another. That is why your eyes and your ears are your best friend. You will be surprised by the amount of individuals that let information go over their head. You don't realize how much information you can get about your surroundings, about people, until you shut up. Shut up. Sometimes you gotta shut up, okay? Shut up. You cannot know what's going on if you're always talking and you're always moving. Sometimes you gotta chill. Sometimes you gotta observe and listen, okay? Because unfortunately, sometimes people will try to manipulate you. And I know y'all don't want to hear this from Big Sis, but sometimes people will try to manipulate you. They will. They will. And that's why I pride myself on creating content so that you guys don't get got, because unfortunately, a lot of times your pattern recognition doesn't strengthen until something causes it to. But before you get into that pickle or that, sticky situation, focus on how to increase your pattern recognition skills, because when you have solid pattern recognition skills, you can't predict the future, but you can help predict what could come. Okay, and that is important when you're dealing with people, because sometimes people can be unpredictable. You don't understand them. You don't get how they think. That's because you're talking too much and not listening. Listen and watch. Listen and watch. Okay, I promise you, once you start listening more, talking less, watching more, and doing less, you about to be a pattern recognition specialist. You about to graduate for the School of Pattern Recognition today. And active listening and observation will allow you to have a little bit of peace, because with humans, it's so hard to understand the why of why they do things. So unfortunately, you got to put your own data, your own 1-2 punch together so that you can have a cohesive picture so that you know what to do next. Because unfortunately, some people don't even know why they do. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing it just to do it. Okay? And unfortunately, you will not have to succumb to their foolishness. You got to get on your Zoom, practice active listening, practice peeping and looking and being alert, because at the end of the day, the person that's going to protect you is you. And unfortunately, you cannot trust people to be forthcoming with information. So you got to lock in. You got to listen more, see more. Yeah. Number 2. Do research, okay? A lot of the times people be wondering why my videos are accurate or relate to them so much is because I do research before I open my mouth. I'm not going to get up here on this platform and just talk to you and say foolishness and not do my due diligence first. Research is important because while you can actively listen and observe to get your data points and to get insight, you have to research the behaviors. So, if someone is being weird to you, let's say, for example, if someone is treating you strange or acting a way towards you that you don't understand, I will literally put their behaviors that I noticed, I observed, and I researched. What does this mean when somebody do that? Because the beauty of pattern recognition is humans are creatures of habit. Okay, it's not just one, it's all of us. So we are creatures of habit. So what you see and what you observe may not be the first time in life someone has done this thing. I promise you, it's 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 9, this is not the first time a human on earth has behaved this way. Okay, so once you peep what you saw, if you do not have a strong inkling on what you think it may be, do your research, because we are all wrong sometimes. Sometimes we are wrong. And you know what? And how to combat ignorance? Do research. Research. There are so many books, so many articles, so many things on behavioral patterns and why people do what they do. Research. And when I mean research, actually read. Don't just sit up there and research and be like, she's jealous of me. Read. What do these behaviors exhibit? When they are doing this, why is the reason? And it'll literally give you insight and a peace of mind, because you'll literally be walking around looking crazy because you don't understand why someone is being weird to you and why somebody is isolating you and why somebody is just being so weird when it comes to you. You have to do the research. You saw it. You peeped it. You observed it. You know what I mean? Now you need to do the research to see, because there are people who are trained in psychology. I don't have my degree in psychology. I have my degree in marketing, okay? But just because I don't have a degree in psychology does not mean I don't need to know what's going on. Okay, it's a crazy world out here. People are doing any and everything. Okay, you need to know who you are around for your own safety, because being around the wrong person will stifle your growth. It'll make you doubt yourself. It'll put you in places where you don't belong. So protect yourself, okay? Listen to what's going on. Observe the behavior. If it don't make sense to you, start to research. Because I feel like we're losing recipes. And that's why your girl is here talking to you about it. We're losing recipes because when we were in school, okay, back when we were in school, you had to research topics before talking about them, okay? Whenever you had to write a paper, I mean, the longest paper I ever wrote was a 25-page paper. I don't wish that on nobody, okay? Literally, you have to do the research. In order for you to get that A in that class, you have to do the research. Now, the A in that class is really in life. You got to get an A in life, okay? Because the weird things and the evil things that people are capable of, you won't even know till it happens. So I'm trying to prepare you and get you ready. Okay? So, with that being said, number 1 was active listening and observations. Number 2 is that research. Okay? Number 3, journal. Now, I don't journal, and I could journal more. No, that's a lie. I do journal. I put my notes in my iPhone on my little notepad. This is good because it will allow you to not have to remember everything up here. You'll have something that you can reflect and go back to. And this is not even just important to recognize the behaviors in other people, but it's important to recognize the behaviors within yourself. When you journal, you can go back on your thoughts, see what you were thinking at this time, like resonate, and it'll even help you learn more about yourself when you journal, because you can go back to your thoughts and listen to yourself and how you feel, because a lot of times we be talking just to talk. It is rare that you listen back to what you said and learn from yourself, because learning from yourself will also help you to learn from other people, because you know how you like to be cared for. You know how you like to be loved. You know that when they did this, it made you feel a way, so you wrote it down. So now not only are you learning more about yourself, you're learning more about other people in the process. So journaling is definitely a phenomenal way to store the insights that you have here and put it on paper. Sometimes you have 1,000,003 things going on in here. It helps to straighten everything out and organize it by either typing it down somewhere or writing it down. Because now listen, let's play this back. We said to listen more and observe more. those observations, those data points that you saw, that you then researched, you can write them down now. Increasing your pattern recognition is only part of the process. You have to also increase your listening, increase your observation, increase your research skills, but also increase your comprehension. Okay. And with that being said, number 4, take a stare. Number 4, increase that comprehension. Now I know you're talking about, girl, we're talking about increasing the pattern recognition. Why are you talking about comprehension? Baby, because they go hand in hand. All of this is things that come from your brain. Okay? Not your creative side. I think that's the right side. The left side. This is working to increase and strengthen the left side of your brain. Active listening, you've been actively watching, you've been researching your theories, and you've been writing them down. You have all of this data. Can you comprehend it? Comprehension is the cognitive ability to process, interpret, and completely understand information. It forces you to go beyond just hearing or seeing words. It allows you to actively grasp new ideas, peep underlying intentions that people don't always say, and apply this to the real world. Increase your comprehension. You can read in digestible chunks and then summarize to yourself what that passage just said. Does that sound familiar? We was doing that in English class. Now that we adults, everybody done forgot. Also helps is to annotate the important parts so that you don't forget, and when you're looking back on text, you're like, oh, this resonated with me. Now I can look back and comprehend why. That you read it, summarize what it's about. Now ask yourself questions. Can you answer the questions without having to look back at what you just read? Or are you stuttering? That means you need to go back and reread. After you're able to ask yourself questions and answer them successfully, teach it back to yourself or someone else. That's how you know if you really got the gist of what you just read. Tie this into everything that we're learning today. We first had to engage in active listening and observation to open yourself up to the world of pattern recognition. Secondly, you had to do research. What did you see? What does it mean? And to then write it down. Once you write it down, you read over it, you understand it. Now it's comprehending. You comprehend all the data points. Do you understand what you wrote down? If you did, great. Now you're ready to move on to step 5, analyzation. What does all of this mean? Literally, what does this mean? I done listened, I done watched, I done researched to get understanding, I done wrote it down, what I saw, I'm reading it back and forth, questioning myself, teaching it to somebody else to make sure that I comprehended what I learned. Next, you gotta analyze, and that's number 5. I know you're thinking, Tati, this is a lot. That's why you gotta break down your data points into small, digestible sections. You break it down. You need to focus on the things that stood out to you. You observe and look for patterns. Is this something that someone was doing to you constantly? Is it a one-off? Is this a part of their character? Or this is just a bad moment? You have to be able to not only observe initially, but observe everything that you tracked, because you are now looking for patterns and repeat behaviors to determine, why are they moving like that? And most importantly, why are they moving like that towards me? Because when I tell you, sometimes you will drive yourself crazy wondering why people are doing the things that they're doing to you, when you literally can just look at the behaviors, listen to what's going on, research their behaviors, write it down, comprehend what's going on, and analyze why it's happening. See these patterns and these trends, and it's all really starting to make sense to you. Now you want to interpret the data and what it means. Okay, and I kind of teased that a little bit in the last part, but now that you observe the patterns, now that you can identify the trends, now that you can comprehend what's going on, analyze it. Why is this person doing this? What's going on? Like, so just in case you're following, to become a better analyst, you must deconstruct, means break down all the research, baby. Break down all the data. Break it down. Observe. Is there a pattern? Are there trends? Interpret what you think these patterns and these trends mean. Why and how these details matter, and what are their relevance to you. Lastly, evaluate what you found. Now that you saw what you saw, now that you deconstructed, broke it down, observed what's going on, interpreted it based on your understanding of the situation, now evaluate. So now that I know what's going on, why it's happening, the behavior behind the fact, and I comprehend it, now let me evaluate. Let me evaluate. And that's putting together everything that you learned from doing your analyzation and really finalizing that cohesive picture of what you're discovering. Then the strengths and the weaknesses of your findings, and what you find, I will also research to make sure that this is not just your feelings in a bunch in a bind. This is based on clinical and psychology based reasoning. Okay, because you don't want to just sit up here saying, well, I built the whole case around you and it's based on my feelings. No, you listen to them, you observe their behaviors, you've researched what they was doing, you wrote it down, you made sure you comprehended it, you analyzed what you've learned. Oh, baby, it's a wrap for you. I got a whole little case built up against you. It's like, you don't want to build cases against people, but you definitely don't want to go into situations blind. That's why it's important to evaluate your whole, because you don't know, but you low-key just built a case. You low-key, not Tonti taught you how to build a case against people. My bad. But now that you have a little portfolio, a little folder, a little vanilla folder with your findings, now you got to evaluate if you was crazy. Is this good reasoning? Was I tripping out? What's really going on? And after you evaluate, you can determine the accuracy of your findings. Okay? That's not the only way you can evaluate your findings. Bonus number 6. Not y'all got a bonus number 6 from the queen. What? You got a bonus number 6 from... I could have only told y'all 5. Now you got a 6. To really test your case study, your pattern recognition, is to get in the field. Okay? And I know you're like, Tonti, what are you talking about, get in the field? You know who I'm talking about. The person that you've been researching, that's been getting on your nerves, that you're trying to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. Now that you built the case study, now you watch. Is your hypothesis proven? So y'all thought, this is a one-time case situation. No, this is for the rest of your life. This is for the rest of your life. Okay? Because once you practice pattern recognition, it gets stronger and it gets stronger and it gets stronger. And you become more accurate and more accurate and more accurate. You wasn't expecting that. So, once you finished your case study, get back in the field. Is this accurate? Is this person still being weird? Is this person proving my theory to be correct? Or do I have to formulate a new hypothesis? A hypothesis, okay? Do I have to formulate a new one? Because a true pattern recognition specialist doesn't take everything that they've been through before and say, oh, that's what it is now. Everything is a new situation. Everything, because everybody is different. We are all complex creatures. So just because you have a hunch for one person don't mean it's going to work for another person. You continue to study the person that you had this hunch about. See if your theory is correct and apply this same method to everybody that you come across. Not even everybody, but most. Because you don't want to be the person that is allowing foolishness in your life on purpose. What? Why would you allow foolishness in your life on purpose? So this is a life skill. Okay? The quicker you apply it, the more you will save yourself from people who do not deserve access to you. People who should have got their access revoked. And new people who are trying to get into your life. Stay woke. Stay vigilant. Okay? If y'all want more videos like this, or you already know what you want the next topic for the next video to be, make sure you comment down below. I love to hear from y'all. And I be replying. So, let's graduate from the School of Pattern Recognition together. Period. Make sure y'all like this video. Share it with your friends. What have you noticed? Did I miss anything? What have you noticed? Make sure you drop it down in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time.